Hello everyone, and hello YouTube world. My name is Victoria. I am a beauty enthusiast and I'm hoping to get to make videos that you can watch and hopefully learn something new every time you view my channel. I have many good makeup ideas, things I've learned, things I've experienced and done myself, and I'm really hoping to share them all with you. So today I am going to do my everyday makeup look, which is this right here. It's just a natural, glowing from within, enhance your natural beauty kind of look. I have this when I go to work or when I go out, maybe on a lunch date, or even if I'm just running some errands. It's just a little step up from a really quick morning routine. So stay tuned if you're interested, and let's get into it. Okay, so starting with what I do every day for my makeup routine, I start with washing my face in the morning. I have really good cleansers. Today I actually exfoliated my face as well. It was just getting to that time of the week that I needed to get all that extra dead dry skin off my face. So after I do that, I put a little moisturizer on. Then I usually let my skin sit for a little bit just because it's so red after massaging my hands into my face. And so even like I kind of have natural redness, and that's usually when I'm doing my makeup, is geared a little bit towards dry skin and redness. After I have all that normal stuff done that I just do daily anyway, is I get a lip balm of some sort, a moisturizing one. And this is something I've been using lately. It's the Glossier balm.com universal skin salve. It is so good for dry lips, and because of dry weather coming in with fall, my lips have been so dry. I really need to focus on drinking more water, less coffee, more water. So after I do that, I put on my primer, Smashbox Photofinish Primerizer. This is a moisturizer and primer in one. Now I know I already put moisturizer on earlier, but never hurts to get your dry skin a little more moisturized. So I just take that and a couple pumps into my face and onto my neck. Just give my face a little added sip of water. Also lately, I have been struggling with bags under the eyes. So I am going to use my Milk Makeup. Sometimes I use this more than once a day. Cooling water, and it just feels so good. Helps depuff, but mostly just feels very good on the under eye. And I just kind of massage that in underneath. And maybe a little on the upper lids as well. So once I have that base, I'm not really huge in doing a whole lot for my base for my everyday makeup look, but I will go in with my NARS Tinted Moisturizer. It's the Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. This has been a go-to for me for a long time. I love NARS products. I just feel like this is very moisturizing for the face. It has SPF in it, and also just does a really good job of covering up discolorations in the face. And you don't need very much of it. I use Finland Light 1 basically all year round. I don't really need to change it up lighter or darker in the summer just because these tints are just so universal. They do have quite a few shades to select from. One thing is it feels a little greasy at first, but once you get it moisturized and really set in, you might have to do a little extra rubbing. It just gives a nice overall smoothing effect. Not very much coverage. I usually don't go for a lot of coverage for my everyday looks. This is just something I'd wear, you know, if I go out or going to work, and I don't need a whole lot. So next I'm going to go in with my concealer. I have been using this lately. I'm obsessed with it. It's a L'Oreal True Match Super-Blendable concealer. I find the formula to be super lightweight and blendable, like it says. I really don't mind this sponge tip applicator too much. I know it gets kind of gross, but the product is so good in itself that I just apply it with the sponge, and then I use a beauty blender, my Real Techniques sponge, to get the rest. So I just crank this up a couple, and I will just maybe a couple more. Add this. This is just a really nice lightweight. It's not super covering. It just does the job of covering up redness and just making your eyes look a lot more bright too. I use the shade C1 to Fair Pale. If I remember correctly, when I bought it, it was the Fair Cool, which for me, I have rosy undertones, so when I'm fair, I am more cool tone. And I just kind of guessed and got this, and I think it's a really good shade for me. I'm finally getting to the point where I'm a little more pale. My summer looks are going away, actually for quite some time, and I need to get a lighter shade in this. I was using the Born This Way concealer. Oh my gosh, this is the newer multi-use sculpting concealer. It is so good. It does such a good job of covering, makes your skin look flawless. This is the shade Nude. This was more of my summer color. I still use it on occasion, but then I realize my face is not matching the rest of my skin, so then I have to put a bunch of bronzer on my neck to make it blend better. So good. Definitely need to pick up a lighter shade in that. So until then, I'm going to keep using this. Put a little bit there. And yep. So a little hack that I have come across is, first of all, this Pixi vitamin water. It's a wake up mist. It smells like oranges. It's so delicious. It really does help, especially if I'm getting ready for work in the morning, to just help brighten your face, open your eyes, and it smells so good. So I just take my sponge. I've been using the Real Technique sponges since the beginning. I actually didn't know when I first started doing makeup that Beauty Blender was an actual brand. So I have always called this my beauty blender, but it's not. It's a Real Technique sponge. I buy 4 packs when Ulta has their sales for them. So I take some of this mist and I squirt my sponge, and then I just go in and blend this out. Now I notice this concealer does use a little bit more effort to blend than, I don't know, some other ones, but I think it's because it's such a thin consistency. But it really does end up with a nice light coverage, which is usually what I go for my everyday look. Today I do have a little bit extra going on here. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of my concealer and just do a little extra layer over the cheeks, which is where I get the most red. That looks very fresh, and I look a lot more awake than I did before. I am now going to go in with one of my new favorite powders, the Hourglass Translucent Setting Powder. This is so finely milled. You only need a very little bit. I just set underneath my eyes and a little bit everywhere I put my concealer. So a little bit underneath the eyes. Oops. And sometimes a little bit over the lids too. Especially, I'm not doing much for eyeshadow, so that's okay. And a little bit on my chin and a little bit on my forehead. There you go. The next thing I'm going to go on to, one of my favorite things that I cannot get enough of, is the e.l.f. This is their bronzer. It's Sunkissed. It's only $2 at the drugstore. Definitely worth the money. It's one of those bronzers where you just, it's so buildable. You can't put too much on. Some bronzers can be super intimidating, especially for fair-skinned people. I find this to be super blendable, super buildable. Really can't do too much. And my favorite duo is to use this flat Kabuki brush. This is from Equate Beauty, the Walmart brand. This is awesome. I have been using a kind of angled Morphe brush. I'm not sure which one. It came in a set. But I've been using that as my bronzer and brush, and it would be fine. But then I think I realized I don't really like angled brushes, because I don't really like my angled blush brush I have from Sephora either. So I thought I'd give this a try. Literally, it was under $5. The best thing that I've gotten. I am obsessed with this. So I just take a little bit or a lot of my e.l.f. bronzer, and I just, in little small circles, will apply this to my cheekbones and a little bit up on the sides of my face. It is just such a light, shimmery, golden, just sun-kissed look. And like I said, it's so sheer and light. You can just keep building it up. I particularly lately have been putting quite a bit on, and I think that's just because I'm not ready to let summer go and I want to keep that summer glow going on. Do a little bit down here. It just gives a nice natural sheen and glow. I love it. And then usually for every day, I'm not going to do much for contour. So I just get one of my nicer bronzers. I think today I'm going to use Marc Jacobs, the Tantastic, the coconut. Is that what it is? Coconut Perfect Tan. I usually go between this and I go between Hoola bronzer. I like that one as well, just to add a little bit extra. Sorry, I have to get used to doing this. So I'm going to use the same Kabuki brush, dip into that, and just chisel out a little bit more right where I would want the contour and a little bit up the side of the face. And same over here. Just a little bit deeper pigmented bronzer just to help sculpt things out. I just kind of go over my lids a little bit too with that. A little bit here and down my neck. But I have a face full of bronzer. I think it's okay. We can move on to the next thing. One thing I'm really excited about is I don't usually wear a lot of blush in my everyday looks. I'm trying to do more blush looks. There's a few that I've picked up and I'm really starting to enjoy. I am really excited about this blush balm from Flower Beauty. This is in the shade Pinched, which is, I would say, probably the shade I've seen the most on YouTube. And it's just a very light, peachy, and I've been kind of more into peachy blushes lately. I kind of go back and forth between more peach, nude, and pink. But I am going to try this out today. So I guess it's not true every day because I'm not sure if I would use this every day, but it looks great on other people. I think what I'm going to do is just put a little bit on my hand. This is such a pretty shade. I think this will go very good with my looks. Okay, and I'm going to just mist my beauty sponge again, and I'm just gonna dip into that, and I'm just gonna apply that to my cheek. Oh yeah, I really like that. Wow, and it goes on so well over the bronzer. Okay, might have just found my new favorite thing. Just gives the most soft, subtle color. I think I might just like a little too high on that side, but that's okay. Wow. I really like that. I really do. That, we'll have to use that again and try that a little more. I'm gonna go back with my bronzer. I'm gonna do the e.l.f. And I'm just gonna take this Morphe brush. It's like the really large crease brush. It's M510, and I'm just gonna dip into that e.l.f. a little bit and just put the slightest wash of color on with that. This is one of my favorite things to use this brush for, is to just get that initial wash. I don't do a whole lot normally with eyeshadow for every day. Today, which is something I do most days, is I'm just going to do that light wash, and then I'm going to take my Tantastic bronzer and just take a crease brush. This is the It from Ulta at one point. I've had this brush for a long time. It's just all gone. I can't find it. I'm sure I can find. This is like my holy grail eyeshadow brush. When I wouldn't have anything else, I had this brush. And just gonna blend the Tantastic in just a little bit deeper into my crease. And just keep going over. Some days I do a little heavier than others. I feel like that's a good wash for today. I like the whole vibe I have going on with the flower blush and the bronzer. And then I'm just gonna take just the smallest amount and just do right underneath the eyes, just to give it a little bit of smoked out effect underneath. I am not a big fan of too much underneath the eye. I guess unless I'm doing a real smoky look. I feel like since I have a little bit hooded eyelids, if I do too much with the under eye, it just kind of closes my whole eye shut. I usually like to keep that as clean as possible. So that's why I don't mind just putting a little bit like of more of like what the leftovers are on my brush underneath, especially if I'm using eyeshadow that's super pigmented. The bronzer, it's not so much. I dip in a little bit and put that on. For just over the whole lid, something I've been doing lately and I've just been absolutely loving is the Hourglass Scattered Light. This is in the shade Reflect. I really wanted the smoke shade. When I went to go buy this, it was out, and so I ended up with Reflect, but actually I think Reflect goes way better with more of my everyday looks, where Smoke was more for when I'm doing really good eye looks. This is just the most beautiful shimmer. I love it. It's a champagne-y color. It goes perfect with like my everyday bronze. Love it. So I just dip my finger in that and pat it across the lid, and it just gives the most stunning light effect. I think I went in a little too much. I have a little too much product on my finger. It's probably because of my fingernail is so long. I dug some out, but it's okay. I can pat it down. Do the same thing with this side. And I find if I use this, I don't have to use highlighter so much on the center of my lid. I just put this on and it just gives the most stunning, gorgeous, sunlit, lit within look. And then after I put that on the lid, I just go back in with my crease brush and just smooth that out, especially in the crease. It gets a little uneven. Just like that. I am going to go in with ColourPop. This is a Super Shock Cheek Pearlized highlighter, and this is in the shade Lunch Money. I've had this for a long time. This is one of my favorites to just go to. It's a little creamy, which is weird sometimes, but I just get this Real Technique setting brush and swipe across the tops of my cheeks and a little bit of my eyebrows and a little bit in between my nose and my Cupid's bow. I might actually dip my finger in to get the Cupid's bow. Just gives a nice subtle, goes very well with that e.l.f. bronzer, I feel like. Oh, I almost forgot brows. I actually just trimmed my brows the other day, so they're not too horrible. I've been bouncing between a few different products lately. I just got a bunch of samples of the It brow. It's the Universal Taupe. I've been using it. My brows are pretty naturally full right now. I can use the brush and just brush them up. Really, my brows are pretty low maintenance if I have them kept up with being plucked and trimmed. I get really long brow hairs, and sometimes I don't realize it, and I do my brows and they're like crazy huge. I think I'm just gonna brush them for today and add just a little of the Milk Makeup Cush Fiber Brow Gel. This is in the shade Haze. It's their blonde taupe shade. And I'm just gonna go in with this little brush and hit the spots where I'm usually the most sparse, so usually right on my arch. I love this brow gel. I used to just use the pencil and do the clear gel, which I still do on occasion, but this makes all the difference because it just has that little bit of color and the fiber. It really helps fill in. I'm kind of toning down my brows. They were really crazy this weekend, so I'm trying to slim them down a little bit. I'll come up a little further in the color. I think that's good. I every day don't do a lot with my brows. That's probably more than I do normally do. Sometimes I just brush through and let them go. Okay, next I'm going to go in with just a little bit of eyeliner for the waterline. I've been using the Smashbox Always On Gel Liner. This is in the color Fishnet. I believe it's just like a black. I got this in Ipsy. I didn't like it at first. When I tried to like use it on top of the lash line and try to wing it and smudge it, it does not smudge very well. But just for the waterline, it actually is very good. It's not super black, which I like. My all-time like holy grail eye pencil that I use all the time is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide-On pencil, and this is in the color Smog. I love this. Just poke my eye. I have no idea how my eyeliner looks after that. Hold on, I gotta check. Okay, I got at least a little bit of pigment there. And then I'm gonna go in with my Monsieur Big Volumizing Mascara from Lancome. This is my absolute favorite. I've actually been playing with the NARS Climax quite a bit and using that instead. But today, I've missed this and I just want it back. This is definitely my favorite because it just gives so much lift to the lashes and it's just great. It volumizes them. Mine are, I guess, kind of thick, but they're blonde, so you can't really see them, and they're very straight. And this kind of helps with that. Obviously, I have to really take my time doing this. I cannot talk while putting on my mascara. Alright, that completes my everyday makeup look, and that is the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope maybe you learned something new. Please like and subscribe down below if you would like to see more from me in the future. I have many great video ideas, but would love to hear from you if there's anything you would like for me to do. Hope everybody has a great day. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.